Away from sanitation issues, the constituency primaries for the New Patriotic Party NPP, originally scheduled to be held between 21st to the 24th of February 2018, has been slated for Saturday 24th February to Tuesday February 27. In the studio is Sami Ewuku. He's National Youth Organizer and acting National Organizer of the NPP.
Good. I didn't know I was acting National Organizer.
Oh.
I'm the National
you
Youth
are the National Youth Organizer.
But I'm gunning to be National Organizer.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. That's good. Thanks very much. But quickly, let's just talk about the reason for this postponement.
Well, first of all, we earlier on had intended to host our constituency delegate conference. That's in accordance with Article 7, Clause 26 of our party's constitution. However, we are unable to have it from 21st to 24th due to three reasons. First of all, we also do recognize that our MPs have a job to perform in Parliament this week. They are also members of the Constituency Executive Committee, members of the Constituency Delegates Conference. They are delegates to that conference. Again, we also do recognize that our Research and Elections Directorate need some time to put together the album for the various 275 constituencies. And the third reason too is that we want full participation of our rank and file executives across the rank and file of our party.
Okay, and that's why you're slating it for Saturday?
For Sunday, 24th to the 27th.
All right, okay.
And then, so these are the reasons that did necessitate for us to push it from 21st to 24th to the 24th to the 27th.
But is this likely to affect your national?
We hope not. We hope not, because if you check our party's constitution again in Article 7, Clause 26, says in every year, at least 4 weeks prior to the regional annual delegate conference, 4 weeks prior to that, there shall be a constituency annual delegate conference. And in this case, to elect constituency executives. We are hoping to have our regional elections, because after the polling station, we had electoral areas. After that, we were having our constituency. So the constituency elections, at least it should be 4 weeks prior to the regional one. And the regional one, we're expecting to have it in April. So that is even about 2 months. Yes,
and then the national...
We have the national one, God willing, ending of June. So we can elect national officers of the party to help steer the affairs of the party. One for the next election in 2020, which we're taking it very serious as a party. And then the next one, the next reason is to steer the affairs of the party till 2022.
All right.
When our tenure will expire.
Okay. Now, during the polling station elections, there were a few, skirmishes, and there were a few pockets, pockets of violence, we want to call it. But some of your members at the grassroots level actually want to see this constituency election more as a unification process. I remember seeing a video of one guy around Bantama, if my memory serves me right. He was actually burning his, I don't know if you came across that video. In Mampong, rather. Okay, he was actually burning his MPP flag and all that. There seems to be a certain discontent at the grassroots level, and for many of your members, they want to see this as a unification process. So really, are you looking at that in the first instance, and how do you hope to achieve that?
First of all, elections do not necessarily achieve unification. Elections in itself is always a divisive contest.
Exactly.
Because I won't benefit seat at her expense, and then she won't give off easily. However, let me separate the two issues. At the polling station level, we manage over 29,000 polling stations. And it's not an easy target, because the party is represented across the 29,000 plus polling stations. There were some polling stations in a constituency that we had to even suspend voting there to enable us to have enough time to vote. By and large, we were able to achieve over 90% target, and some of them we had to reschedule it to enable us to have enough time to go into the issues that are causing the agitations on the ground. In the case of the Mampong gentleman, of course he's a member of our party, but he contested for a polling station that he was expecting to win, because to him he's a radio contributor of our party and feels that he should be rewarded through an election.
Of course, that's how a lot of your party members feel, obviously. You've told them you give them jobs, even.
Yes, exactly.
So you wouldn't begrudge them if they feel that way.
Yes, but elections is not just giving you a job, it's about putting yourself up for a contest. And for any politician, I think politicians are the most courageous people on earth. To even say to yourself, I want to put myself to a contest and go to an election. Because in elections, there's no draw. It's either a win or a lose. So when you go in with that mentality, then obviously what happens is that you are willing to take the feedback from the people as the author. Let me give you 2 examples that will even surprise you. Somebody did contest, Sir John, in the past contested in Tafo Primaries in the Ashanti region. He lost. But the next time he contested General Secretary, which is the second most powerful position in the party, and he won. John Boydu, 4 years before, somewhere 2010, contested for National Organizer and lost. 4 years down the line, the party gave him an overwhelming victory as National Organizer. So it's always like that. So when you lose, there's always another day to fight on. And what I want to also tell our party people is, let's go in with the mentality, we want to give it our best shot. I'm going for National Organizer. If I don't get to win, that doesn't mean I should stop contributing my quota towards the party. And for you to burn the effigy of the party and party paraphernalia, I think is an abominable offense. I say this with all due respect, because when, after, time heals wounds, and when you are healed, are you now going to go back to say you want to undo that? Then also another despicable act that occurred in the Utu Senya constituency, where people were at the extreme and were cursing party leaders from the national, from the region. So when we die at the national, who's going to manage the process for you at the region?
But don't you think it's a sum of your utterances and the posture of the leadership of the party that has created this kind of...
Then his leadership of the party didn't say, when you lose polling station elections, go and burn the effigy. However, let me also be quick to add, these were 2 or 3 isolated incidents. I'm talking about managing 29,000 plus polling stations. And if you're able to talk about 5, 6, 7 out of 29,000, then obviously the party has done well in achieving some kind of stability at the base. With this impending constituency elections, today we woke up with news that there were some people who felt dissatisfied with the way the album was prepared in the New Job in South, hired thugs to attack the constituency secretary, tied him up, and took the album away. What they forget is that at the national, we have a copy of this original album. The fact that you've taken one away doesn't mean that we are totally handicapped to produce another album.
But let me just ask this: aren't you concerned that all these incidents, people cursing, people burning, people attacking and all that, reinforces a perception of your party being violent and supportive of violence?
That sounds interesting. I kept telling then candidate and then President Mr. Mahama, when he was campaigning, that his party was more united than even Manchester United, at a point that when you are in government, that is when you can have the luxury to talk like that. When you are in opposition, it's like an all-play-all kind of thing. But I would disagree, because even when the NDC, they were going around even soliciting for views on why they lost their elections, there were flying of chairs here and there. For the 2 major political parties, when it comes to the party elections across the branches, the constituencies and across the rank and file, it's always heated, because, well, it's become more of an NDC being an alternative to the NPP and the NPP being an alternative to the NDC. So party leaders within these 2 major political parties, anytime there's a contest, it's a huge struggle.
Okay.
And we reject outright that these isolated cases of 1, 2, or 3, or 4 incidents can be better placed to categorize the party as being violent. Okay, so we've always believed in the people's choice, democracy. That has been our hallmark, and the NDC learned from us as well.
So you'd realize I didn't say you were more violent, because I didn't want to play that comparative game. The conversation here is that there's violence in your party. How are you addressing it? What are you doing to fix it?
We've had some isolated cases of violence. When you say there's violence in our party, then
I don't mean the party is a violent party, but you have pockets of violence, and some of them are really serious. But what are you doing to fix it?
Unfortunately, the laws of our country do not mandate us to arrest and prosecute people. It mandates the police, the law enforcement agencies, to act with dispatch. And crime has no color. It's not like Ideal Milk or something that can get an expiry date. When it comes to crime, whether the person committed it in Yendi or committed it in Okanko.
Because that's a party, you definitely must be concerned.
There's a party of over 11 million people.
I appreciate, but you're a party, and you still have responsibility to create right perception, to build the party, to even definitely, in the long run, affect the democracy and general political well-being. So, as a party...
What are we doing?
No, so I'm just asking, I don't know, you have to tell me.
Yeah, so like are you
are you looking at a more reactive approach? Oh, we are not the people to arrest them. Oh, we are not mandated. Yeah. What are you doing? Seems to me like you know, you're just quite distant from the situation.
Not at all. For me as a youth leader, anytime the youth, any part of the country engages in any act of lawlessness, I'm the first person that the multimedia group will call. But unfortunately, I may not have eyes everywhere. But when you talk about what the party is also doing in terms of education, I'm sure it's one of the reasons why I'm seated next to Venice today, to also try to put our issues across and educate people on how they can also conduct themselves through the electoral process. Unfortunately, in a political party, not everybody will be a rational being that will also appreciate issues the way people will also appreciate. So there are some people you have to do constant education, and we don't get tired of doing that. But what we also have to also know is that as a party, we also have rules governing the conduct of members. Article 4 of the NPP's constitution places enormous responsibilities on the shoulders of each and everyone who is a member of our party. And for you to bring the name of the party into disrepute, it goes with some sanctions and penalties. And we haven't checked from that responsibilities as well, be it whether you are big in the party or you are small in the party. And in the past, we've proven that no matter your status within the executive body of the party has the courage and the determination to crack the whip when called upon to do that.
Interesting. Yeah, it's been a very good conversation talking about the election matters. But let's just move a little away and talk about the president 1 year on. You know, he's done quite a lot. Yeah, he addressed the nation just about 2 weeks ago and told us what the NPP and his government is going to do. Then interestingly after that, we see a certain level of assessment of ministers and all that. As a party or as youth organizer, what's your impression of this mode? Seems to be a novelty.
Yeah, everything that President Akufo-Addo has done from day one in office has been a novelty. Even the announcement of ministers and the format he took was a novelty as well. And again, in terms of his policies, you know, what people forget is the NPP is not deviating from the promises we made. And day in, day out, we strive to also achieve the target that we set for ourselves. And if you are part of the president's team, you should know that you also be called upon to give account of your stewardship. President Akufo-Addo, I expected him, in fact, when campaigning, I knew deep down my heart he was going to be a fantastic president. But I didn't know he was going to blow my mind in a year in terms of his programs, policies, and the determination to achieve. So
you're satisfied?
Not just satisfied, I'm overly satisfied.
Is the party satisfied? Are you gelling with government? Because we've seen it sometimes where the party and its government, you know, don't really agree on quite a number of issues. We and our appointees, we as party leaders and party members and our appointees, we are in an amorous relationship with our government. And we love them, and they love us back. But the good thing is that we also have the courage to call our government on when things are not. That was what did not happen in the past. Our members are able to speak up. For instance, let me give you an example of the toll levy. We had leading members of our party calling on our government that even though we did not pass these laws, it would be detrimental to the fortunes of our party and government. The president and the party and the government took upon itself, and they reviewed and withdrew. You recently the case of the first aid kits, the toll levy and all that. So we've shown in time the TV license as well, where you may not know whether you're going to arrest the husband or the wife when you enter their house and they're watching TV. But for people being called upon to give account of their stewardship, one is a novelty, and we believe that it also brings accountability to the doorstep of our people. So finally, I'm just going to find out from you about Mr. Martin Amidu's nomination as special prosecutor. Your own party member, Kennedy Japan, thinks that this is just going to cause trouble for your party. Finally, briefly, what do you think about that?
But Venice, I don't expect it to cause trouble.
So you disagree with Kennedy?
No. I disagree with Kennedy. I think that we should encourage Mr. Amidu to, you know, people think it's witch hunting, but where there are witches, they must be hunted. And if you are in government, if you're a member of the NPP and in government, you should not fear the special prosecutor. If you are a member of the opposition NDC and your hands are clean, you shouldn't fear the special prosecutor. However, what we should also not allow will be to let the special prosecutor also operate without any criticism. Well, we believe that we must also speak about the way and manner that things are going. We should. But I'll give President Akufo-Addo an A+ for his first year.
So the party won't be destroyed like Kennedy is suggesting? Your party will be fine?
I don't have, from the headquarters of the party, we don't have any evidence to suggest that. And it's been great being here.
Thank you very much, Samir.
Thank you very much.
Is National Youth Organizer of the NPP, and we've been talking about the postponement of their constituency elections and other matters. Do stay here with us on JoyNews for details on that.